Today, I will tell a story about me and the pyramid principle. First, I will tell you something about me. My name is Chen Feiyang, a year 5 student in secondary mathematics. And I can use two words to describe my year 1 and year 2 life. It's anxious and procrastinating. And I have a bad habit before, is that I get used to relying on others' assignment and AI tools when finishing my assignment. And because of this bad habit, I encountered a lot of trouble in my studies. From my academic record, you can see that my GPA is very low, and I even failed some courses. And in addition to this, I also encountered great difficulties in my BP. When I started my BP1 in my year 3, I needed to prepare my class content. But because I was overly accustomed to use AI tools, it was very difficult for me to prepare the content. So it was difficult for students to understand the courses I prepared using AI. So I have to solve this problem. And while trying to figure out how to solve the problems, I stumbled across a book called The Pyramid Principle. This principle has helped me a lot in the past 4 years of college life, especially when it comes to changing my bad habit. So, what is the pyramid principle? Let me introduce it. The pyramid principle is a structured communication method developed by Barbara Memto at McKinsey Company in the 1970s. It is widely used in consulting and business settings to help professionals express their ideas in a clear, logical manner. And the key concept of the pyramid principle is that ideas should be presented in a hierarchical structure, starting with one main ideal or conclusion at the top, and supported by several key arguments or sub-arguments below, which in turn are supported by details and evidence. And by organizing information in this way, the principle aims to help readers or listeners quickly understand the main information and navigate through the supporting details efficiently. This approach is particularly useful for presentations, reports, and any form of business communication where clarity and conciseness are essential. In summary, this principle advocates starting with the main ideal or conclusion first, and then structuring the supporting information below in a logical and easy to understand manner. Similar to how the shape of a pyramid guides the eye from the broad top down to the specific bottom. After reading a book about the pyramid principle, I began to try to apply this principle to my course preparation process. First, I would clarify the theme of a class, and then I would list the main knowledge to be imparted to students in each class. And then I will design some activities for each main knowledge so that students can understand it. You can see that this is the theme and main knowledge points of a lesson, and here is a design of teaching activities for knowledge points in a lesson. And as expected, I passed my internship with flying colors and received praise from my teachers and students. And here are my students. You can see, and here is the FE supervision form. You can see. After my BP, I also benefit a lot because of the principal. First, since I understand and know how to use the pyramid principle, I have never relied on any AI tools to complete any of my assignments. And my anxiety and the procrastination have also been alleviated a lot because I have mastered my own problem-solving methods. And besides, whenever I encounter something that needed output, I would apply the pyramid principle to make things go smoothly, and below are some detailed successful cases. First case is a speech experience. 2 years ago, I had to give an impromptu speech to 100 people, and I used the pyramid student principle. Finally, the audience responded very well. And I clearly remember that time was tight, so I didn't have much time to write down and memorize my speech. But I still gave a successful speech because I thought of using the pyramid principle when preparing. I wrote a small outline in my mobile phone memo, like this picture, which recorded the topic of the speech and some key points I wanted to share. And then I simulated the complete speech twice in my mind based on these key points, and then a successful impromptu speech was born. And case two is a teaching experience. At that time, I needed to tutor a local Honkoner to learn Mandarin. And my students' requirement is learning Pinyin. However, I had no experience in teaching Pinyin related subjects. So after thinking of the pyramid principle, I saw that to teach this course well, I needed to let students clearly understand what the main learning content and knowledge fronts of each class are, and read relevant materials so that the knowledge points can be clearly explained. So I chose to first introduce the main learning content and the knowledge points to be learned in each class, and then design some activities to explain the knowledge points in detail so that students can understand and absorb them. After the course, the students' feedback was very well, and she commented that I explain knowledge very carefully. And case three is about the marketing. This was my first time making some marketing, and I had never had any experience in marketing before, and I succeeded very smoothly in my first marketing. I think it was because I know how to use the pyramid principle. And the main activity was that I wanted to do a paid project to help passers-by take photos. So when preparing for the activity, I searched for some marketing related knowledge on the internet and got a rough marketing framework. I understand that marketing is mainly divided into 5 aspects: product, price, location, promotion, and audience. The next thing I have to do is to refine the steps according to the framework so that each point in the framework can be completed as best as possible. Through my own personal experience, I have learned that the pyramid principle is a very practical principle. However, To make the principle highly feasible, my case explanations are far from enough. So I asked AI to help me conclude how to use the pyramid principle in academic and career. First, according to the OpenAI, to apply the pyramid principle effectively in academic work, start by clearly stating your main argument or thesis in the introduction is necessary. This ensures that readers understand your position and the central idea you aim to convey right from the beginning. Next, break down your thesis into logically grouped and mutually exclusive supporting arguments that fully explain and justify your conclusion. These arguments should cover all essential aspects of your thesis without overlapping, and each argument should form a separate section or paragraph giving your work or clear coherent flow. To make the argument compelling, you should provide specific evidence for each one. And from the previous small part of suggestions, we can see that the suggestions given by OpenAI are very detailed and feasible. Also, according to the analysis of the OpenAI, pyramid principle is a highly effective tool for improving communication, decision making, and problem solving in your career by organizing information into a clear logical structure. It works by starting with the main points or recommendation, followed by supporting arguments, and concluding with detailed evidence or data. To apply the principle in a practical setting, OpenAI gives a lot of practical recommendations and examples. In conclusion, the pyramid principle has helped me in many ways. So I know that in the future, I have to learn to use the pyramid principle more skillfully to achieve my goal of making my life and study and work more and more successful. In terms of academic, since my major is mathematics, and I need to face many examinations and review. Therefore, I plan to use the pyramid principle to make necessary plans and make some knowledge summary. Although my academic problems are no longer limited to failing courses or having low GPA, I still feel confused because I can't find the key points of the courses. So I will make some outlines like a pyramid so that I can more organized and efficient when learning knowledge. In terms of career, I have found that the career direction I want to develop through some practice, which is marketing. In the process of marketing work, the effective use of the pyramid principle to write plans, conduct customer docking, exactly will increase my work efficiency. And I plan to follow the practical advice of using the pyramid principle given by OpenAI when dealing with work problem or continuously optimize my work. And thank you. Here is my story. Thank you for listening.